we're back, and Hailey and I are on the phone right now with Zack Krieger from Ayers Basement System. Zack, I believe you said you're basically the Swiss Army knife, right? I asked your title. You said run with that.
You got it. I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for talking with us a little bit. We've got you on the phone, and really what we want to dig into is something... Well, I guess it's going to come as no surprise to anybody out there. Something personal for me. My power went out a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago. I can't remember. The time has blurred together. It was such a horrible experience.
You had a really rough time with that. You complained a lot.
I did.
I suffered. So really, it's personal for me, too.
A lot of people were affected by this power outage. I had 3 days of no power. The kids couldn't charge their phones. Netflix, all of those things were off the... You know, we couldn't do any of that. And Zack, I'm looking at my refrigerator as time is going by, and, you know, I'm limping along, hoping I'm going to make it, ended up throwing away a little bit of food, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that was a pretty minor experience compared to what other people have had. Mm-hmm. You know, I understand that. But
yes.
I know that you've got a solution for it, and I guess I want to talk about that. You know, whole home power when we have an outage or something. Why don't you kind of walk our listeners through? I know you said in previous conversations that this has been really big for you guys this year.
With all the storms.
Yeah, help us understand it.
Yeah, so we became a Kohler dealer, distributor, servicer, and installer over the past 24 months. And we've become really, really excited about these types of products because it helps our customers in so many different ways, from peace of mind to just having that power in critical utilities when other people don't. And so I think of times where, you've got family members who may have a medical need or, might use something like a medical device, and they absolutely have to have that power at all times. And so these are machines that give you that added protection, that peace of mind. So when the power does go out, your life doesn't stop.
Right.
So what does the thing look like? I mean, is it I'm thinking it's roughly like an air conditioner kind of a thing. Is it about that size? It sits outside permanently? I don't wheel it out of my garage, right?
Exactly. And so, yeah, you're basically looking at an encased generator. It is about the size of an air conditioning unit. I think that's something appropriate to kind of size it to. It looks really great. Kohler does a fantastic job of cleaning it up, so you barely even notice it's on the side of your home. And we can get these done in just one day installations.
Wow. So what's required of my home to install this type of thing? Like, can it go in anyone's home? Does it need to have a certain amount of utilities available?
Well, so there are a couple considerations. I know later on you're going to ask me the size of the generator and, hey, how much does one cost? So I can kind of wrap that up in one statement. Basically, we need to think about how much electricity or how much load is required to properly size it, meaning what utilities do you need available when the power goes out, whether that's a well or a refrigerator, an air conditioner, or a furnace.
Sure.
How many, different circuits, do you have a refrigerator, stove, those kinds of things, appliances. That's going to determine the size of the generator. And then we have to think about, natural gas, propane. What are you using in terms of fuel? And those are a couple considerations that we need to think about, as well as the electricity coming into the home. Do you have the appropriate service to be able to handle the transfer switch and be able to kick that on?
Is that something you can help us get up to speed where it needs to be, or is that something at that point where we just kind of part ways or we find some other solution for this?
Yeah, so one of the cool things about Ayers Basement Systems is in the last 24 months, we actually partnered up with Grand Bay Electric and East End Plumbing. So we're really proud to bring them underneath the umbrella of Ayers Basement Systems with the same ownership. We wanted to find a couple companies that shared the same purpose, mission, and values and operated their business the same way that we did. And so we decided to partner up with those guys, and now we're able to provide electrical and plumbing services,
wow,
including the gas service to the generator. So we're really proud of that.
All right. That's really cool. We're on the phone with Zack Krieger from Ayers Basement Systems. And Zack, we're talking about whole house power when we have a power outage or something like that. Let's talk about the value or the benefits of what you would install over, like in my situation, when the power went out, the neighbor had a gas power, just a little portable one that he rolled out there and ran that for a couple days. What's the benefit of what you offer over something like that?
Yeah, so when you're thinking about one of those smaller units, you're really very limited in the amount of power that one of those can actually generate. And so you're probably only looking at being able to power maybe a freezer or a refrigerator, get enough power maybe to plug a couple phones in. You're really not generating enough power to really get a main utility like a furnace or an air conditioning unit up and running at that point. So you're constantly filling this thing up with gas. You're going out to check, is it still running? There's so much of a headache that goes on. And a lot of times you're not even using the one that you own. There's a lot of people that call us and say, hey, I ran across the street and I had to take 300 feet of extension cord and plug into my neighbors so that I could have enough power to keep my phone alive. So really what you're looking at is just the convenience of about 10 seconds from the time that your power shuts off. You're instantaneously going to have power once the transfer switch loads over to the generator. You're going to have whole home power as if your electricity was never turned off.
And if that's the case and the rest of the neighborhood's down, I am turning on every light I've got. And I'm going to let everybody know this house has power. It was funny.
It's like your neighbor.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. A guy across the street and kind of off to the side, the power goes out, Zach, and like 9:30 at night. We were thinking it was going to come back quicker than it did. It took several days, but 9:30 that first night, everything's starting to get dark now. And there's this one house where it's just lit up like a Christmas tree. And the guy's in his garage cutting with a table saw. And it's like, why? It's
just showing off.
It's got to be just to let everybody know I've got power.
It's so funny.
That's awesome. Yeah, I bet he was nice and cozy.
Yeah, they were, and we actually were too, because it was very hot outside. I could have done with being a little less cozy, in fact. Would have loved to have been able to run the air. So you said the process of installing one of these is a day-long kind of a thing. I know that, you kind of hinted at price. I know that in previous conversations before we went on air, you talked about how it's really hard to pin down. Is there any kind of ballpark? Can you just help people get an understanding? Or what do they need to do if they want more information to, at least pursue this? Is this something I want or not?
Yeah, absolutely. I wish that it was a one-size-fits-all approach, but it's not. It's just dependent on the size of your home and what you're looking to accomplish. Like you said earlier, you may want to flip all the lights on and enjoy a party at your home while everybody else is sitting in the dark. And your neighbor may just want to make sure that their air conditioning unit is able to keep, their home cool, and they're not really worried about too much else. So we just take a lot of pride in coming out, asking a lot of questions, understanding what it is that you're trying to accomplish so that we can pair you with the appropriate generator. If you'd like to set up a free estimate, give us a buzz at 866-379-1669, or just check us out online at goayers.com.
All right. We'll put links in the show notes for all of that. Now, Zach, you have partnered with us for this big paint contest that we've been running. We talked about it. We gave a bunch of paint to 10 different winners. Those winners are all working on projects in their home right now as we speak. One of those people is going to be the grand prize winner, and they're going to get to choose from a number of different prizes. And those prizes are $1,000 worth of services from a number of different businesses. You're one of those businesses. And I'm wondering if you've got just a few minutes, if we could pause for now, take a break, come back on the other side, and maybe just take a few minutes to talk about some of the things that you offer. We talked about the generators and all of that, but there's so much more that you guys do. Maybe to let our listeners know what kind of things they could be winning if they're one of those lucky people. And also just, what they could seek you out for if they're just regular folks. All of that. Can you hang with us, Zach?
I'm hanging in there.
All right, we're going to try to keep the line connected and do our best to make sure that we got a good sound connection, and we'll be right back in just a minute with Zach from Ayers Basement.